trust, only a 5-letter word. But trust stands in the middle of all the problems that is plaguing the Indian healthcare ecosystem. From health information to health products, from health professionals to health institutions, there is a constant distrust about everything that is engulfing us. In the Trust series of the Healthy Indian Projects podcast, we talk to change makers who are constantly fighting to bring that trust back into the ecosystem.
Today, we are joined by three incredible health content creators, each playing a vital role in fighting misinformation and spreading health awareness. First up is Ravi, a science communicator who runs the YouTube channel Logical IAM, where he debunks health myths and fact checks viral claims with clarity and logic.
और इससे कोई साइड इफेक्ट नहीं होगा, आपका कैंसर गारंटी ठीक हो जाएगा. मतलब डॉक्टर गारंटी नहीं दे सकता, पर वो गारंटी देंगे because YouTube does not want to dwell into anything that is kind of a risky territory. But a certain product is adding no sugar, and then they decide, okay, let me start another sugar भर के product. So it's not my responsibility that what they are doing in the future, right?
Our second guest is Dr. Priyanka, a neurologist and proud AIIMS alumna. On her Instagram page, Sabki Sehat, she simplifies complex health topics and empowers her audience with accurate medical information.
नॉर्मल टेंशन टाइप हेडेक के बारे में कोई ब्लॉगिंग नहीं करेगा, कोई नहीं लिखेगा, बट पीपल विल टॉक अबाउट ब्रेन ट्यूमर्स. और ब्रेन ट्यूमर के सिम्टम में 5-6 सिम्टम में हेडेक तो ज़रूर आएगा. आई स्टडीड फॉर 13 years in medicine, so I don't have to struggle with the research part. That first line is something that I still struggle with. But then people need to be aware of the qualifications. Problem with Indian population is they are not even aware that what qualification to look for. They don't know what is the meaning of MBBS, what is the meaning of BAMS, who is MD, who is DM. They are not aware of.
Rounding out our panel is Revant Himatsingka, popularly known as Food Farmer. Through his nationwide campaign, Label Padho India, Revant has inspired millions to read food labels and make healthier, more informed choices.
I think people don't prioritize something unless they get sick. Forget the junk food companies which approach me. I have not even done ads for clean food companies. I have to make this 10-year-old health conscious. I have to make that 10-year-old health literate.
Let's dive in and explore how we can restore trust in health content, one fact at a time.
How will you make him understand something in simple language if you are doing it full time? Will that take care of your living cost? All said and done, we are not doctors. Do you think that we have the moral right to do health content? Okay, so thank you for making time today. It's great that we managed to come together, and I am hoping that this is going to be a great discussion. I'll just set the context here. The Healthy Indian Project has been working in the health information space for the last 5 years. हम लोग बहुत कोशिश कर रहे हैं to educate people about health, to fact check misinformation, and in the journey we realized two things. One, there are other people like you who are doing great work in the similar domain. So I said, why not we come together and try to learn from each other? And number two, a lot of the health misinformation that we see in the online space are created by the health content creators themselves. Now, either these health content creators are very gullible, so they take anecdotal evidence and make a content out of it, or they make a content out of all the hearsay, all the things that their Nani, Dadi had always told them, and they think that these content will help people, which in most of the cases is not the case. Or they are very desperate for viewership, desperate for engagement, desperate for having followers. Hence, they will package something in a very quirky way and put it forward. What happens as a result is the viewers, over a period of time, of course, when they realize that these things are not working, the tips are actually more harmful than being helpful, lose trust on those content creators as well as on the entire health content ecosystem. So the second thing that I want to achieve after today's discussion is a to-do or maybe a not to-do list for all health content creators out there, and define what exactly is the trust index when it comes to health content. It's a free flowing conversation. I mean, it's not me asking questions. We all talk to each other and try to learn from there. Cool. So let's start by introducing ourselves. We'll start with the lady in the room first. Tell us about you. Tell us everything about you. I mean, starting from your childhood to your education to what you do, and then we pick up from there.
So, I am from a very humble background. My dad was in Air Force, and my mom has always been a homemaker. I have one sibling, an elder brother. I have done my schooling from various Kendriya Vidyalayas all across the country: Nasik, Kanpur, Chennai, Delhi. I think 6 to 7 KVs in 12 years. I think NEET was the only exam I prepared for. And I was not able to crack it after my 12th because of overconfidence. That result was like a slap on my confidence. I was so overconfident that, okay, I have always been a topper and my brother has already gone into MBBS. But then that's not all. I got to know that, yes, your board exams, your schooling, and your entrance are completely different exams and require completely different kind of dedication. So I took 1 year gap and then I cracked MBBS. I was not able to get into AIIMS Delhi at that time. AIIMS was a big thing.
Hmm.
So
It still is, right?
it still is, yes, it still is. So, but when I was doing my MBBS, when I went into third year, I thought of why not try to prepare for AIIMS, in your third year itself. All my seniors used to tell me it's very tough. You have to, drop 2 years after your MBBS. And I thought that what if I put my 3 years ahead before time, starting in my third year. And I did that. From my third year MBBS itself, I started preparing for that one exam for 9th November 2014. I still remember the date. It was etched in my memory. that one date. That one date meant everything. So I prepared for it. I cracked it during my internship. I did not have to take any gap. And that happened approximately a decade later. Somebody from Harding did this after a decade. And that gave me motivation that yes, I can do more. So I did my MD medicine from AIIMS. Then I went on completing my DM neurology from AIIMS Delhi only. And then I shifted back to Gurgaon for my private practice. I started my private practice about 2 years ago. I did not want to enter the corporate world. I wanted to cater to the masses. I wanted to be able to, give discounts and treat people free of cost if they are not able to afford.
Okay.
I can't do that in a hospital setting. So I did not get attached to any hospital for my OPTs. I'm attached to those as a visiting consultant if I need to admit a patient. I'm running my OPD only at my clinic. Now, why I started this health awareness campaign, Sabki Sehat? So there was an interesting morning when my husband asked me, Ki, why do so many people have headaches? And I started telling him about the lifestyle things, the lifestyle changes, and how the lifestyle matters, and why they are having headaches, the usage of screen in the night. And he told me that nobody knows about this. Why don't you tell people about these things? We don't know. We always think when I have headache, my mind goes to a brain tumor or something like that. Now I didn't know that it's such a simple thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So then I thought that yes, during my MD also, we did not get that much of time to focus on patients and explaining them everything. We had to see approximately 100 to 150 patients in a single day. We started at 9, we finished at 4 p.m. The OPDs went so long. So
If I may ask here, I mean, how much time did you spend with each patient in those days?
at AIIMS,
Huh?
approximately 5 to 10 minutes depending on the case.
And most of those times were discussing about the case history.
Case history, yes.
No education or no background
Very
inform.
less education and lifestyle changes because there was not much time when outside your OPD door there are 250 people standing over there and there are 4 OPD rooms. You can't keep on talking about lifestyle changes with patients. So yes, honestly, we were not able to. And that's what I thought, ki there are so many things that I can tell them about. I have studied so much, I have read so much about these things. So why not communicate to patients?
Right.
So that was the only reason I started out, and that still remains the only reason I'm here on this platform on for this campaign Sabki Sehat, to tell people about things. So whenever I get requests for collaborations or some topics to make videos viral, I communicate to them politely that, see, I'm here for awareness. I'm not here for making my videos go viral. Even if 10 people are able to benefit from my single video, that works for me. I'm
Absolutely.
happy. So that's where I'm here. And I think that campaign ran out very well. People responded. They are so aware now. And they come to me at my clinic. They tell me, ma'am, I checked my B12. I got to know I'm having memory issues because of my B12 deficiencies. And I got to know from your videos. And now this and this is happening. How can I solve this? So they are listening.
So you think that health literacy helps the patient to understand better and communicate with you better?
Definitely, yes. People want to know.
But that
But
is
we should
one
be able
topic I
to.
really want to delve deep into today. Ki the effect of the health awareness that we all are trying to create. But before that, uh, Ravi, what about you? I mean, I have been following your videos since the start, and I probably stumbled on it just by chance. And I loved the sarcasm that you put in, but you have picked up a very, very dangerous domain, if I may term it. Uh, so tell us from the start, कहाँ से ये idea आया और क्यों?
I think from the very beginning, if I can, like, recall, it's been a long time. So, like, when I had a very humble beginning as well, like, we did not know what to do. There was no internet, by the way, at that time. So we did not know what to do. So, like, whatever our parents told us, like, we did. But there was always a kind of, जिसको बोलते हैं कि एक मन में था कि when we ask questions ki why, how, about anything, like about a ritual, like what we are doing, why we are doing, like why specifically this thing. So my parents as well as my teachers, they probably did not have any answers. So they told me that, चुप रहो, ज़्यादा सवाल मत पूछो. So basically this actually kept on going. एंड दैट एक्चुअली लेड मी टू थिंक कि जब मैं थोड़ा इतना बड़ा हो जाऊंगा कि भाई मेरे को थोड़ी सी नॉलेज हो जाएगी, तो एटलीस्ट आई ट्राई टू फाइंड आंसर्स, एंड इफ आई डू नॉट नो आई से आई डोंट नो. दिस क्यूरियोसिटी एक्चुअली kept on building and building, and whatever
बचपन का गुस्सा culminated into.
Yes, exactly. So our education system is also such that it does not cater to curiosity. It just caters to whatever you are, a rote learning kind of a thing that you, remember just based on your size of sheer memory, and you just vomit out, and then you would guess, get very good marks. I got an opportunity to work in Canada. And then my Canada story began. Like, I kind of did my entire PhD from Canada. Liked it so much, stayed there for postdoc and research experience, and then started my venture there, lived there. So fast forward 10 years, 12 years, then I don't know, something happened, and we thought, like, as a family, my wife and my two kids, that let's move to India. And we gave it a lot of thought, and then we came back to India. And at that time, probably I was trying to relearn about India, that what is happening, this and that, because you get local news, local stories, right? So then I got to know that what is happening, like all these things happening, misinformation, pseudoscience, left, right, center, everybody is, talking about it, people are listening to it, people are falling for it. So that's when I started my YouTube channel, and that's how I started to talk about these things. I picked up these viral reels, and it worked. Before that, I made some videos, like explainer videos, this and that. Of course, it did not work that much, but this thing people really liked, because not many people were doing it, probably because it's too risky or too
The fact checking the babas of the world.
Babas, like people of influence, even celebrities, everybody talks about it, right? So we started talking about it, and my domain actually goes past health and misinformation. I also talk about other things like religious dogmas and other things, and like
Science as a whole, science
as a whole.
education as a whole.
Yeah, science.
कोई पर्टिकुलर ट्रिगर पॉइंट था जिस जब सोचा कि अपार्ट फ्रॉम द बचपन का गुस्सा कल्मिनेटिंग इनटू
Specifically one Babaji, I don't want to name him. He said कि आपने गोबर का फेस वॉश ट्राई किया है कि गोबर को अपने फेस पर लगाएंगे ना तो आपको बहुत अच्छा निखार आएगा. तो I thought, is he joking or he is really serious about it? So then I came to know he is really serious about it, and he like told it like 3-4 or multiple places. Then I came to know about other people, like what they are doing, and हल्दी से कैंसर ठीक होता है, या लीफ जूस पियोगे तो दिस हो जाएगा, वो कैंसर ठीक हो जाएगा. तो स्पेसिफिकली मोस्ट रील्स, आई थिंक वी ऑल अग्री दैट इट्स ऑन कैंसर मिसइंफॉर्मेशन.
कैंसर एंड डायबिटीज. आई
Yeah,
थिंक
the second, like very close, is diabetes, but I think the top spot goes to cancer, and then it goes to rituals and this and that. So that got me like really that कि इस पर बात करना जरूरी है.
Do you think, and Dr. Priyanka will know this better, do you think this misinformation around cancer, जो रवि कह रहा है, is also because cancer treatment is costly in India? I
I
mean,
wouldn't
probably
say
people
that
are
cancer treatment is costly anymore. We have good government-led hospitals which have really good cancer centers.
okay.
So in Delhi NCR itself, we have NCI Jhajjar, the National Cancer Institute, and we have such a huge oncology department in AIIMS Delhi, and the treatment costs nothing.
Okay.
It's
But
very
is it equipped to manage the constantly growing need of cancer treatment?
Yes, it is. So recently only when the size increased, they increased the area also, they increased the number of OPDs in oncology department, they recruited more senior residents. Now there are more DM seats. Even in Bombay, we have good government hospitals. So there are two things here. One is people want timely treatment. That is one thing that is, usually is not able to be done at a government setup because there is huge rush. But people who can wait and have patience are getting really good treatment in government hospitals for cancer in India.
But can cancer patients wait?
Here now, with the patience level that we have, we don't want to wait for 15 minutes in an OPD. With that patience level, nobody will wait. So cancer is not going to do anything in 15 minutes. We are not saying that people are getting treatment 1 month or 2 months later, but even for 15 minutes. So see, even in my OPD right now, if I take more than 15 minutes, if I make a patient wait for more than 15 minutes outside my clinic only, they get very impatient. So in an area like NCR, people prefer to go to private hospitals for cancer treatment. But in areas like Haryana outskirts, like Bahadurgarh and everything, they will go to either PGI Rohtak or they would go to AIIMS Delhi, even if they can afford treatment at a private hospital.
Are these the people who are more vulnerable to the misinformation, or is it like anybody can fall for it?
I think like if a person of influence says कि ये मत कराओ कि कीमोथेरेपी और रेडियो थेरेपी से आपका प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं होगा, आपका प्रॉब्लम बढ़ जाएगा, क्योंकि देर आर सम साइड इफेक्ट्स, एस्टेब्लिश साइड इफेक्ट्स, बट वो कहेगा कि ये ऑल्टरनेटिव तरीका सेफ है और इससे कोई साइड इफेक्ट नहीं होगा, आपका कैंसर गारंटी ठीक हो जाएगा. मतलब डॉक्टर गारंटी नहीं दे सकता, पर वो गारंटी देंगे तो ऑफ कोर्स पीपल आर गोइंग टू go towards that alternative therapy, which delays their treatment and aggravates the problem, right?
Before we continue, celebrity in the room, Revant. I mean, we all know you, right? You have spoken about your story. What I am very intrigued to understand is रेवंत से फूड फार्मर का जर्नी हम सबने थोड़ा बहुत देखा है. रेवंत रेवंत कैसे बना?
Sure. So I grew up in Kolkata. I'm from Calcutta. My parents are also there. And till I was 18, I was there. I studied in Calcutta as well. Like contrary to what people believe, I used to eat a lot of junk as growing up. Even now, I don't have much, but at that time, especially, like everyone else, I would consume a lot of packaged food and everything. Then I went, when I was 18, I went to the US to study. I studied at NYU, I studied finance there. Then I studied 1 year, I did a nutrition certification. And then for many years, I was not in the nutrition field. In fact, Like I was doing all sorts of jobs. I was a consultant for some time. I did my MBA. But one interesting thing, 10 years ago, I wrote a book called Selfienomics. And in that book, there's one chapter on nutrition labels. And even back then, 10 years ago, I had said that, one of the most underrated skills in the world is learning how to read a label. Because we are consuming more and more packaged food, and even the health conscious people, even maybe many doctors also, don't know if this is healthy or not. So I used to say that just the way, most people say that they want their children to learn coding. Similarly, I say you have to teach your child how to decode a food label. So this is what I said 10 years ago, and now coincidentally I'm doing that now as well. But I did a lot of non-nutrition related things for many years in the US. But all throughout I was very frustrated that I'm in the US, I have a lot of packaged food because US packaged food is very common. So I wanted to, and every time I would go into the grocery store, I would pick up something and I'm like, they say high protein, but there's 2 grams of protein and there's so much mislabeling, and I used to get annoyed about that. So I wanted to fight against it in some way or form. But instead of fighting against it in the US, I thought, why not do something in India जहाँ और भी ज़्यादा misinformation है. There's more need for me to do something, which is what led me to leave the US, come back to India, take a major risk. And that's what made Revant into food farmer. That was I changed my Instagram ID and other IDs also to Revant to food farmer, and then I made some videos on chocolate powders and other places which went viral, and then I kept making more and more videos, and that's how food farmer happened.
But why the rebranding? I mean, why not continue it with Revant? कोई specific
No
thought?
specific reason. Back in the day, it was Revant Himmat, my Insta handle. I thought that there should be more focus on food.
Acha.
And I was actually at that point when I had left the US, I had also thought that why not start an app where you can scan the barcode of any food, packaged food, and it'll give you a health rating.
Interesting.
So I thought that I'll start something like that. So I had left the US to be fully dedicated towards nutrition in India. So since I am focusing mainly on nutrition in India, I thought I should also have some online or some persona of a nutrition as well, like in my name and in my brand and everything, which is why I made it Food Farmer. And as you may know, it's PHARMER. And the idea is simple that if we eat food made by farmers, we'll hopefully reduce our dependency on pharma.
Oh.
And that's the thing, that food is medicine. And if we eat food made by farmers, we'll reduce our dependency on pharma. That's how the name came up. And I think it was potentially useful because there was a more stickiness attached, food farmer. In fact, more people now know me as food farmer rather than Revant.
Yes.
Like 5 million people follow me, but 20, 30, 40 million people may know of me, but they've not clicked the follow button. But there are still, India is such a major country, and there are still like 1,000 million people who don't know me. So it's not that, like people think that everyone in an airport will surround you and take photos. It's not like that. There's only a certain section of people who know you. So still there's a lot of India who does not know who Food Farmer is, and yeah.
So, I mean, this brings me to a very interesting point. How important is social media followers for the work that we do? I mean, all of us, for example, चाहे हम हेल्दी इंडियन प्रोजेक्ट में कर रहे या चाहे आप एज अ फूड फार्मर कर रहे हो आप एज अ लॉजिकल आई एम कर रहे हो you are doing great work in health literacy. How important is that individual followership on social media?
I think it gives a little bit of outside credibility, but I think ultimately it does not matter to me. But the first thing you see when you are seeing somebody's name on Instagram or YouTube is the number of followers, right? Or subscribers. So
the dopamine hits.
The platform also attaches you to the subscribers or followers. It like the work is recognized later. So it kind of gives you the validity. Like people would not click on somebody who has 10 subscribers, even if he or she has done like wonderful work. But people would click on somebody who has 1 or 2 million subscribers or followers. So it kind of is like the first line of kind of thing that you see. But afterwards, I think it doesn't really matter, because I have seen people who have like hundreds of followers, they do excellent work, and later on they get recognized. But initially, like people like have in mind that oh इसके इतने हैं, उसके इतने हैं. I think ये वाला जिसके ज़्यादा followers हैं वो अच्छा काम कर रहा होगा. By default, people have this mindset, especially in
So
India.
people associate trust with the number of followers.
Yes.
Is that the right way to put it?
To some extent, not always, but to some extent. I think there are some doctors on Twitter who have 100,000 followers, but their voice is also very powerful.
Yes.
Like, so yes, having millions of followers, of course, would help, but it's not always the case.
Okay. And is our follower count dependent only on the good work that we do, or it's also dependent on the algorithm of the social media platforms?
100% is algorithm as well. That would be a lie to say that if you just post good videos, it'll get views and things like that.
Exactly.
I think it's 70% algorithm and 30% of what you do, and then it gets recognized later on. If people won't watch you, they won't know who like I am or anybody else is, right?
So, as content creators, we also need to be great content marketeers, right? And not every good content creator, or say every good health educator per se, is a great content marketeer. So there's a lot of voice, and also one thing that I have at least experienced in my short experience of fact checking misinformation is misinformation spreads much faster than a good information. So, in how do you think we solve this problem of making the good content go viral or educating the people who are making the good content? I mean, is there a way you can think of? I mean, I'm sure all of you struggled. आपके first video वो chocolate drink वाला नहीं होता तो शायद आप भी व्यूअरशिप के लिए स्ट्रगल करते या फॉलोअर बेस के लिए.
So I'll just answer one thing. First of all, before that chocolate drink video, I've been making videos 7-8 more years before that. So while it was my first video as food farmer, it was not my first video. It was probably my 1000th video. So I've done many videos in which I did not get views also.
Exactly my point.
See, for me, my patients are my best teachers. I take pointers from my patients. Even on my patient pad, so whenever I'm, taking history, I'm seeing patients. If they ask me something and I feel like that's something that most people would want to know, I have a paper below my, my pad, and I just take it out, I write it down, I keep it back. Most of my patients must have noticed that also.
Okay.
All my content, all my videos, everything is based on what my patients ask me in OPD or have asked me already. I don't spend too much of time on researching for topics. So till date, in last 2.5 years, I think I've tried to post one video every day. And I take time out during my OPD only to post that video, but I have never sat down at home to think about what will I post tomorrow. Never. When I leave my clinic, I have a topic for the next day. I just have to figure out what time.
Okay.
That time can be when before I wake up my daughter for for getting her ready for school, because I wake up early, so I have time. Or the time can be during my OPD, or if I do not get time, then it can be in the evening. So any time during the day, I shoot that one video with my mobile, and I edit it by myself and I post it. Now, one thing that I have realized it, for example, I wanted to make people aware about cervical cancer vaccine.
Right.
That was 1 year ago. I posted a very simple video telling them about ki cervical cancer is the second most common cancer in females in India, and there's a vaccine to prevent it. It's 100% effective. There are very few adverse effects. This is the age group that you give it to.
Right.
I actually wanted to make the parents of teenage girls aware कि जब आप 10 years का DPT booster लगवाते हो, at that time only you can get your girls vaccinated for HPV before they get the exposure for the virus. Right. That's the ideal time when you get it. But I was not able to reach many people with that video. Then what did I realize? I thought that let me start the video with another line. So I started again, I remade that video. I reshot that video and I started with एक ऐसा कैंसर जिसके लिए वैक्सीन अवेलेबल है. And then people watch that. So that is one thing that I have to put my time into. thinking about how to start the video so that people stay and watch
the
and
hook.
listen.
The hook.
Yes. Secondly, similarly, breast cancer, the most leading cancer in females in India, लोग वॉच नहीं करते हैं. But then if I take a celebrity's name, I have done that in my video. If I take a celebrity's name and I start talking about breast cancer, they do listen, they watch. So at least they are getting the info that they have to do a self breast examination every day. And if they find a lump, they have to go ahead with this. And mammography cannot lead to cancer until unless you get so many mammographies done. So I try to debunk as many myths in that single video as possible. But that first line matters. So I give my time to that one line. Apart from that, my patients all have already done my work. They give me the topic. I already have the knowledge. I studied for 13 years in medicine. So I don't have to struggle with the research part. That first line is something that I still struggle with.
But how I look at it right now, and I'm answering even your earlier question, and even like, does followership matter and things like that? It does matter. If I had 100 followers right now, I may not have been sitting here. Unfortunately, like the politically correct or diplomatic answer is to say that I don't care about followers and all of that. But I think most people do, including me. And I think how I look at it is that you have to balance value and views. अगर आप खाली वैल्यू प्रोवाइड करोगे और व्यूज नहीं है तो कोई पॉइंट नहीं है, क्योंकि आप किसको वैल्यू प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो? आप किसी को वैल्यू प्रोवाइड कर ही नहीं रहोगे, कोई देख ही नहीं रहा आपका कंटेंट.
अंडरस्टूड.
और
बट
अगर
व्यूज
आप
हमारे हाथ में नहीं है ना.
नहीं, बट टू सम एक्सटेंट अगर आप प्योरली, मतलब आपको भी थोड़ा सा यू हैव टू पुट योरसेल्फ इन द शूज ऑफ द अदर पर्सन एंड ट्राई टू बी लाइक, वो आपका वीडियो क्यों देखेगा? लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, I always, whenever I'm making a video, try to think from when I was 10 years old. And कोई लड़का ऑनलाइन आके बोल रहा है शुगर मत खाओ, मैं क्यों देखूंगा? कोई रीजन ही नहीं है मेरे को देखने का. I am a 10-year-old guy. I love chocolates, I love chips, I love XYZ junk food. I have 20 other things which are entertaining. Why am I going to listen to some boring uncle on social media say कि chips मत खाओ या ये मत पियो? I will rather watch an influencer who is abusing, or I would rather watch a gamer or something more fun, sports or something like that. So coming back, I always visualize now a 10-year-old ko. I have to make this 10-year-old health conscious. I have to make that 10-year-old health literate. So I cannot talk in a very snobbish, super scientific tone. वो नहीं देखने वाला है. वो मेरा ईगो को अच्छा लगेगा. माई कोर 1% ऑफ वेरी एजुकेटेड पीपल विल लव मी, कि दिल बी लाइक, ओ फूड फार्मा मेक्स सच एजुकेटिव रील्स, इज सो वेल रेड, आर्टिकुलेट, ये वो 10 साल वाला लड़का नहीं देखने वाला है. एंड दैट इज द एक्चुअल पर्सन हु आई वांट टू एजुकेट. सो आई पर्सनली try my best to add humor if possible. It's reduced a bit recently. I think I've become more serious as a person in the last 1 year, but in the earlier videos I was adding way more humor. But add humor, try to talk to in a very simple language such that a 10-year-old understands. Because while I do respect, you should talk in a scientific tone and fervor, and you should have but it should not be ki your voice is just by being heard by the South Delhi and South Bombay people who are slightly affluent and who are, you have to, I feel like if you're educated, you owe your duty to educate people who are not educated, and not just कि जो लोग already educated है उनको आप educate कर रहे हो. So which is why I think thoda simplification and balancing views and value, and it's a very tricky slope. It's very difficult, because what I'm saying can easily, someone may say it's oversimplification, someone may say it's fear mongering, someone may say it's not scientific enough. So there are obviously challenges. I'm not saying it's easy, but my viewpoint is to try to get to as many people as long as I'm being scientifically accurate. That's the.
So this brings me to a very interesting point. मान लो आप एक पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक पे वीडियो बनाने की सोच रहे हो, एंड वी विल कम टू हाउ यू पिक द टॉपिक, बट से आप एक टॉपिक पे वीडियो बनाने की सोच रहे हो, एंड डू यू हैव अ क्लियर पिक्चर ऑफ द ऑडियंस यू आर टारगेटिंग?
Not super clear, but to a reasonably large extent, yes. So I will rather make a video on a biscuit than on a kombucha.
Okay.
Because it's just that the percentage of people having kombucha is negligible. It's again the South Bombay, South Delhi, and I don't want my videos to be for a certain percentage of only affluent people. I want to try to cater to a wider audience, which is the bulk of India. So I will just pick topics and products which a larger percentage of Indians eat. Now, of course, there may be a time I may make a video on kombucha as well, but by and large, I try to be like, यार जो ज़्यादातर Indian क्या कर रहे हैं, उन पे focus करो. Eventually, I have limited bandwidth, limited time,
Exactly, हाँ.
so I will focus on that now.
I mean, I remember जब हमने शुरू किया था fact checking and we realized that there's a barrage of misinformation, especially during COVID. We always used to look at two pieces of misinformation and figure out which is more harmful. And then pick that one up, knowing very well the other piece is also a misinformation and needs to be fact checked. Ravi, what about you? I mean, do you have a clear target audience? I mean, we were discussing and you said, मैं हिंदी इसलिए करता हूँ because I want to reach out to a larger audience. So, do you have a clear audience in mind when you do?
Now it is because I have recognized who I'm catering to. But initially it was very difficult to gauge कि किसको बात करनी है, किससे बात करनी है, because initially there's nobody. So nobody watching your videos or you don't know who to cater to. But right now I know who to target. Like that's why I started making videos in Hindi. Like technical content, scientific content in Hindi is it's a double challenge because you have to like you cannot translate things in Hindi most of the times, and people still like when I was listening to you, there's always a fine line कि लोग बोलते हैं कि ये बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया या ये बहुत ओवर सिंप्लीफिकेशन हो गया. देयर इज़ ऑलवेज अ वेरी फाइन लाइन कि आपको बैलेंस करना है कि कौन सा टर्म मुझे बोलना है, क्योंकि मैंने 4 साइंटिफिक टर्म बोल दिए, पीपल विल स्टॉप वाचिंग माय वीडियो. लाइक मुझे पता चल जाएगा दे हैव ड्रॉप्ड ऑफ ऑन दीज स्पेसिफिक साइंटिफिक टर्म, बट आई कैनॉट avoid it as well because that's the crux of the misinformation. So I think I know right now, like again it's a process which we all are learning probably and we'll continue to learn, but फिलहाल मुझे पता है कि किस चीज़ के बारे में बात करनी है. और like the same thing like he and you both were saying कि कितना extent of misinformation है, सबसे पहले वो pick करना. और क्योंकि I include at least 7-8 reels in a video, so I can pick both. But the first 30 seconds or 1 minute would be like the most misinformation, the most ridiculous thing a person is saying, so that people say, okay, there is something interesting going on, and then we can talk about serious stuff later on for people who are interested to know the science bit. So that's the progression I take.
And Dr. Priyanka, you will know, I mean, this is a classic doctor's challenge, right? For example, आपके पास एक patient आया and from the look of it or बात करने के बाद, you can realize that the person is not very well educated. How will you make him understand something in simple language? This is a challenge every doctor in a clinic, right? And आप कुछ बोलते हो तो जैसे रवि ने कहा, जैसे रेवंत ने कहा, it becomes oversimplification, right? And he can very well go to another doctor and the other doctor says कि अरे नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, and makes it sound even more a bigger thing. I mean, how do you tackle that? Because as patients, I'm not a doctor, as patients, this is the biggest fear we have while communicating with doctors कि हमें समझ ही नहीं आएगा बोल क्या रहे हैं, या बहुत आसान बोल देते हैं तो ट्रस्ट नहीं है. इतना आसान थोड़ी है. I mean, medical needs to be something full of jargons.
I feel like there are only two things that are needed. One is time, second is the will to explain. So, number one, you can't just, expect a patient or somebody who is a layman to understand you or your terms in 10 minutes. You can't do that. You have to give them at least 10 to 15 minutes to explain to them that, okay, these are your spinal bones and these are the nerves coming out and this is how the disc is bulging backwards. So you do not have to bend forward. Then they understand. Secondly, you need to obviously explain them in their language. If somebody is speaking in Hindi, आप उनको हिंदी में समझाओ. Third is diagrams always help us. Making diagrams, and then we always have models. For example, I have a spine and a brain model in my clinic. Apart from that, I try to ask them कि आपको इसके बारे में क्या पता है and what do you want to know, what is your question about it. जो मेरा, if a patient is not asking, I still tell them, and the flow that I use or have been using that I learned at AIIMS is first I tell them about the diagnosis कि diagnosis के लिए अभी का probable diagnosis ये है, आगे के लिए these are the investigations that are needed and what is the probability of finding something on that MRI, because MRI का नाम सुन के लोग बहुत ज़्यादा डर जाते हैं. So I have to tell them that there is hardly 5% chance, but you are a young patient with headache and you have this thing, vertigo या चक्कर के साथ आपको headache है, it's a red flag sign. And I need to rule it out and everything is treatable. So you please calm down, get your MRI done, get back to me and don't panic. तो वो समझाना पड़ता है. Once we have the diagnosis, then comes in the prognosis. आपके पास diagnosis होगा तभी आप course of illness उनको बता पाओगे कि अभी आपकी दवाइयाँ कितने दिनों तक चलनी है. So हर patient के यही 3-4 question होते हैं. This is all they want to know कि उनको बीमारी क्या है और ठीक कैसे होगी. It's not very tough. One thing is will to explain. लेकिन जितने भी I mean, my colleagues who have been from AIIMS, all of them are very good at explaining. All of them have really great knowledge. They spend time. And अभी भी अगर मैं OPD में मेरे पास किसी nephrologist का कार्ड आता है, तो उसमें वो किडनी का छोटा सा डायग्राम मुझे दिखता है. अगर मैं अपने रिलेटिव को न्यूरोसर्जन के पास लेके गई हूँ, सो दे टेल, वो लिखते हैं कि इस वेसल के अराउंड ये ट्यूमर आ रहा है तो इसमें 8% स्ट्रोक का रिस्क है. सो आई थिंक राइट नाउ दैट विल इज देयर, जो कि मुझे देखने को मिल रहा है कि दैट विल इज देयर. इफ पीपल नो, दे आर ट्राइंग टू मेक पीपल अवेयर. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट डॉक्टर्स हियर. एंड सेकेंडली आई वॉन्ट पीपल टू बी अवेयर कि उनको क्वेश्चंस पूछने क्या हैं. तो मैंने ऐसे भी बहुत सारे वीडियोस बनाए थे जिसमें मैंने उनको बताया था कि नंबर 1, आप गूगल पे अगर पढ़ना भी चाहते हो, विच इज़ अ गुड थिंग, बट यू प्लीज टाइप स्कॉलरली आर्टिकल्स सो दैट यू गेट वेल रिसर्च आर्टिकल्स फॉर दैट डिजीज. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपको हेडेक के बारे में पढ़ना है, आप हेडेक मत टाइप करो ना, आप हेडेक डालोगे, गूगल इज अ फॉर्मूला, तो लोग वहाँ पे आपको नॉर्मल टेंशन टाइप हेडेक के बारे में कोई ब्लॉगिंग नहीं करेगा, कोई नहीं लिखेगा, बट पीपल विल टॉक अबाउट ब्रेन ट्यूमर्स. और ब्रेन ट्यूमर के सिम्टम में 5-6 सिम्टम में हेडेक तो जरूर आएगा. सो गूगल विल पिक दैट अप. वंस यू राइट हेडेक, गूगल विल पिक अप ट्यूमर. वंस यू राइट ब्लड एंड कॉफ, गूगल विल पिक अप लंग कैंसर ओनली. बिकॉज नो बडी इज राइटिंग अबाउट कि अगर आपको नॉर्मल फेरेंजाइटिस हुआ है तो भी आपको ब्लड एंड कॉफ आ सकता है.
Exactly the
But
problem.
people are writing about lung cancer because they want people to be aware, or for whatever
Right,
reason
right.
they're writing. But then Google is a formula, so it picks up lung cancer. तो गूगल करते हैं तो हर चीज़ पे पहले कैंसर आ जाता है in every symptom. So I always tell them कि आप scholarly articles टाइप करो and then you read about it. उसमें आपको अच्छे से well researched articles मिलेंगे, you read about it, and if you have a question you go back to your doctor and ask. आज भी अगर मेरे पास कोई पेशेंट आता है जो बताता है कि इस चीज़ के बारे में मुझे नहीं पता है कि वहाँ पे मेरा क्या डायग्नोसिस था. फॉर एग्जांपल, उसने मुझे हिस्ट्री दिया कि 2 महीने पहले बुखार हुआ था, 15 दिन चला, कुछ इंजेक्शन लगे, ठीक हुआ. इफ आई आस्क देम कि क्या इंजेक्शन लगी थी या क्या क्यों हुआ था बुखार, दे डोंट नो अबाउट इट. सो आई बिफोर दे लीव आई टेल देम कि आप कभी भी किसी से ट्रीटमेंट लेते हो, यू हैव द राइट टू आस्क. आप इतना तो पूछो कि मुझे बुखार हुआ क्यों है. आपने 15 दिन इंजेक्शन लिया, आप भर्ती हुए, आप पूछो, और अगर नहीं बताते देन यू मूव ऑन.
So what you are telling me is the doctors have a will to educate.
Yes, and patients also are having a will to be aware.
Patients also have a will to be aware.
That is what I feel.
Okay. But Revant, I heard you speaking at multiple forums and I personally witnessed it too, and we do kind of witness it on a daily basis. Health literacy in India is a problem. Yeah. Right? And I know for a fact that you have gone to schools and colleges trying to educate people. Is your experience same as Dr. Priyanka?
To some extent, I feel like a 8 to 10-year-old does want to get educated.
Okay.
Because they're just curious to learn, and as long as you use the right examples and make it fun for them, again, as I said before, you can't make it boring. So as long as you say ki, how can you become strong like Virat Kohli, or like, if you just make it a bit more fun, kids want to learn. Adults still think of it like a पीछे में मतलब like a background, like, it's not like their main focus. For example, I'll just say I had made a course on health literacy, like how to read a label. and it was pay what you want. So you can pay me zero also, and you can pay me however much you want, and you can attend the class. It got a decent response, but not a great response. A lot of people did not attend it. I thought it's like literally free. And I have like 50 lakh people following me. So, I would assume that a decent number of people want to do it instead
How
of a
many did
1 minute reel. So I got like 1,000 signups once or twice and 3 times, 4 times. But then eventually I did not get, it's not that every time 1,000, 1,500 people were signing up. Then it reduced. My point is that I am quite sure if I had made a class on how to get rich quick in some way or form, like, in a more, that would get way more people signing up. In fact, if you look at it, the finance influencers and all, they have similar courses and they make a lot of money, like insane amount of money, and they charge you a lot also. I had made it free essentially, and they charge, like, point is that I think people don't prioritize something unless they get sick. Point is, the preventative healthcare is not there. It's curative healthcare currently in India and the rest of the world as well. So if I tell you that if you do this food label course, and if you pick even one good habit out of that, I'm going to talk about 500 things in that one class, but even one product, if you just switch this one biscuit, if you switch from this to this, if you cumulatively every day you're having a better, slightly better biscuit, cumulatively in 10-year period, it can help you prevent one fever at least. Like, I'm just like making up a number, or it can prevent one illness happening, and that you would have spent a lot of money on like medicines and doctor and whatever else, but you would not even spend 100 rupees on the course right now. Why? Because you're not sick currently. So my point is, preventative healthcare को कोई इतना weighted नहीं देता. जब तक लोग बीमार नहीं होंगे ना, तब किसी उनको फर्क नहीं पड़ता. That is the challenge. So I feel like kids care, adults don't, and I feel we need to inculcate this from children.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. So when we talk about health literacy, we are talking about two separate domains. One is prevention and another is cure. So as far as cure is concerned, because of the fear or because of the symptoms that they are having, they want to be aware. But yes, prevention is still a big gap. Prevention to
Do you think it is
prevention.
increasing? Because research report says that preventive healthcare market is booming, or it will grow at a certain percentage.
But what about the percentage of preventative healthcare versus curative healthcare? I am assuming,
of course,
preventative is
curative.
still very, very tiny compared to curative healthcare.
Of course, of course.
So while it is growing, it's also because the base of that is much smaller than the curative healthcare.
Of course.
I do agree it's growing now. People want to spend more on gyms, more on exercise, mental health, and various other nutrition and things like that. But there's still medicine and doctor and various other things do have a much higher pocket share. And even if you look at health budgets of most countries, including India, the likelihood for a government to spend on a hospital is probably higher than a THIP or a...
Absolutely. So this brings me to a very interesting question. Do you earn from your social media platform? I'll start with Ravi.
Yeah, I do earn, but not like it's not that like exaggerated earning because of the space that I am in.
Okay, let me rephrase this in a different way. If you are doing it full time, will that take care of your living cost?
Probably, but we have to be very smart about it because again, like what Revant said, in India, like Instagram does not pay anything, right? Pretty much you are reduced to only brand deals and collabs and promotions. But YouTube pays, but YouTube does not pay that much compared to what YouTube would be paying a financial creator, like somebody who's creating money or this and that. He or she would get about 10-20 times more amount compared to somebody who's doing this kind of thing, like debunking, fact checking, misinformation tackling. It's a very kind of low ad serving market if I'm talking about YouTube, because YouTube does not want to dwell into anything that is kind of a risky territory.
Absolutely.
It will instantly demonetize your video. It will reduce its reach. So basically, yes, you have to be very strong, like very strategic about
Crack
it.
the algo.
Yeah. So and good with marketing. So I think we can all learn
From Revant?
from Revant Food Pharma that how
But
to
I
actually
mean,
do
this is
that.
this is what I want to understand. So, and this is a blunt question. Being a food farmer takes care of your expenses as of today, your videos?
Yes, as of today, yes. As
Okay.
of 1 year ago, no.
Okay.
So for the first 1 year as food farmer, I did 0 brand deals.
Okay.
And I had zero source of income. Like literally, like I was living on my savings from the earlier US job for
Okay.
more than a year, and that was pretty expensive because you have legal notices, you have a lot of things
Absolutely.
going on in your life. It's not that easy. Then I made a call. First of all, especially after Label Padega India, my movement which I had launched, I started getting. I was always getting like many food brand deals, but especially after that, I started getting brand deals left, right, and center.
Okay.
And I just made one pact that at least I will try my best to not do a food brand deal for as long as possible. So at least no one should say कि यार food farmer कुछ food में बोल रहा है, वो ही अगर मतलब if that is itself conflicted, that he is suing it for his personal interest.
बट आपके सारे फॉलोअर्स तो आपसे फूड के बारे में ही जानना चाहते हैं.
हाँ, so that is the challenge. So 95% of food of brand deals that I get are food.
Yes, of course.
And I have decided to not do food brand deals. So I have essentially let go of 95% of
Percent of your
income.
revenue.
So that is a challenge, of course.
So
But I have a question. Like for example, I also get a lot of brand deals, and I most of them I cannot accept even if I want, because they are like mostly gaming platforms, this and that, which I actively are like dissing in my video, right? So they want to give me, of course, not as much, but they want to give a good money that I can survive for 3-4 months. But why this moral responsibility lies on some people while some other like biggest name in our country are doing whatever they want, like they are promoting
it's
whatever
very
in the name of.
irritating sometimes because I have not forget the junk food companies which approach me. I have not even done ads for clean food companies. Like there are many clean food companies as well. I've not even done ads for them when they've approached me. Just कि मेरे को food में करना ही नहीं है. No one should say कि food farmer is biased. So that's why I've tried to avoid it as much as possible so far. So there is I think the more you talk about ethics, the more people will also then hold you at a higher regard. So then they don't want you to do anything.
So to make us trustworthy in the eyes of people, what is important is one we first discussed is viewership. ठीक है, so वो subscriber number होना चाहिए, followers होने चाहिए. Second, we always have to have a moral ground and not pick up certain brands which will be associated negatively with us. Do you think that burden is so heavy on our shoulder that we are limiting our income potential and say eventually we will not survive? Because we have established that there is a need that we survive, right? जो हम करते हैं, लोगों को एडुकेट करने की कोशिश करते हैं, that has certain amount of value. Now, but we still haven't figured out the way we can earn our living only by doing this. And that is majorly because वो ethical, moral burden जो हम अपने shoulder में लेके चलते हैं, like you said, I won't do food deals despite they being, I mean, they are offering me as much as a Bollywood celebrity will get.
For now.
For now, okay.
I don't know, मतलब 5 साल बाद कोई मेरे क्लिप यहाँ का कोई क्लिप उठा के डाल देगा और बोलेगा उस समय ये बोला था.
We have to
अच्छा.
be careful at all times. मुझे brand deals चाहिए.
अच्छा, okay.
मतलब कि so far.
अच्छा, okay. So when will that shift come? At what point?
I'm not saying it will ever come, but I'm saying I don't want to say I will never ever do a brand deal. I just don't want to say that because I don't know what 10 years later what will happen. So I have just said I don't want to do it yet.
Okay.
I think it's a good stance because you never know what happens tomorrow. So I think we have to be smart about it because there's nothing wrong in doing any kind of brand deals. That's we have to establish then and
I
there.
think as long as ki I feel sometimes we also take ourselves too seriously.
Yes, that's true.
There were times when I was scared to put some brand deals up, and when I put it up, 99% were very positive, 1% were negative, and the 1% of people who commented negatively, the remaining 99% replied back to them. I didn't reply back. They only replied back saying कि यार तो भाई तू इसका rent दे दे तब.
Oh, that's very interesting. So
मतलब-
you have a community who educates the other community members.
So
Okay.
I think we sometimes take a lot of. I have done that because I take a lot of stress. And I think people are also not as bad as what we think. Like, they are also, they understand sometimes. I think we overestimate कि अरे वो क्या लोग सोचेंगे ये वो, but sometimes we take too much stress is what I have learned. यार उतना लोग नहीं, and like वो 24/7 आपके बारे में नहीं सोच रहा है. So I think थोड़ा बहुत चलता है as long as आप transparent हो और आप वहाँ लिख दो कि ये है इसलिए मैं किया.
But एक चीज बताओ, today you get a brand deal, ठीक है, and you pick it up, saying ultimately घर चलाना है, right? Tomorrow you find yourself in a situation where you actually have to fact check that brand. How will you handle that situation?
Probably you will not be able to do that because there's like
Exactly.
certain agreement to
Huh.
abide by, but yeah,
But-
that's the real problem there.
Because the way I see it is, कहीं ना कहीं जाके मुझे ये डर है कि हम सब and people like us who are constantly putting in their time, effort, money to educate others are doing it through our own savings. There's no logical business model around this yet. Influencer programs हैं, but influencer program do not directly come handy to us for the same ethical parameters that we have put ourselves in. For example, THIP के website में I decided we will never put up an ad, because the first thing to put up an ad is a algorithmic ad. Say I put up Google ad. अब keyword का खेल ऐसा है कि I have fact check a particular product and some other product is showing on it, right? I thought I have a moral responsibility, but like Revan said, probably I was overthinking. But I thought I have a moral responsibility to keep the website ad free. Now that put certain amount of financial pressure on the business model. I'm not capitalizing on my viewership, etc. तो कहीं ना कहीं जाके हो सकता है the day my current revenue sources dry up, या God forbid there's a lean patch, every startup goes through one. I may change that and I may decide to put up an ad, right? And say 1 year down that line, I see that particular brand is now doing advertisements which can easily be fact checked or making claims which can easily be fact checked. How do I handle that? So, my moral compass is not as of today, it's futuristic too. कि ऐसा ना हो, like you said, your community at times correct each other. But अगर ऐसे situation आए जहाँ पे they will not be able to correct you because you have promoted that brand in the past.
But if I think about it, if I'm promoting a brand right now and after 1 year they change their stance, they do something else. For example, big companies make more than one product, right? So if they start making another product, it's probably not my responsibility to check what they are doing in the future, because what I did, I promoted them then and there, and like based on the current circumstances, and whatever they do in the future, probably it's not. And my audience would also see that it's not my prerogative to see what they would do in the future. So kind of, I think again we might
You
be
think the
overthinking.
audience is matured enough to understand this?
Probably they are, because it can happen with any product, right? Any single product, it can happen. Like if for example a certain product is adding no sugar, and then they decide, okay, let me start
Adding
another
sugar.
sugar bhar ke product. So it's not my responsibility that what they are doing in the future, right?
So, Dr. Priyanka, what I was wondering is, now say you are educated from AIIMS, and whenever we talk about doctors from AIIMS, there is certain amount of trust that we associate with that compared to, say, doctors from any other institution. Not that they are any lesser doctors, but still AIIMS सुनते ही लगता है, wow, I mean, the person is from AIIMS. Now, if I take MBBS or MD as a degree of credibility, how important do you think when it comes to generating health content or fact checking health misinformation? How important do you think this degree is for to be you uh, for you to become a fact checker?
Yeah, so see, the qualification here matters because AIIMS being a premier institute and being a research institute, they always talk about researches. They tell you where to get your well-researched articles from. So that matters when you are giving information to the patient. You yourself know that the information is from a credible source and that you are giving the right information. And patients also have a trust on you because at AIIMS, they are treating even the rarest of rare cases, right? So if we are going to talk about something rare, who better to talk about it than from somebody from AIIMS rather than somebody from an institute where they haven't seen that disease, right? So that is one thing. Second, the credibility of health information has taken a back seat. I think there are so many people coming on social media giving health information that now even people are irritated whom to trust. So that's where the qualifications come in. But then people need to be aware of the qualifications. Problem with Indian population is they are not even aware that what qualification to look for. They don't know what is the meaning of MBBS, what is the meaning of BAMS, who is MD, who is DM. They are not aware of. There are so many of my followers who keep asking me, ma'am, have you done MD or DM? Or what is the difference between MD and DM? Where have you done your MBBS from? Or is this doctor so and so doctor has he done MBBS somewhere? They send me slips also, their OPD slips too. So I'll tell you one example. There was a patient, I had an online consultation with him about a month ago. Now that patient was taking treatment for um, a sensation, a tingling sensation along with headache and some flashes of light that he was having in his right eye for 2 years now. And he just came across a video of migraine and then he thought that let's take an online consultation. Not a person from a very well-to-do family, an average middle-class person. So when I went through his papers, I asked him, so his CT scan done 2 years ago showed that neurocysticercosis lesion with swelling and everything in the left occipital cortex, which directly correlates with the symptoms that he was having in his right eye. So I asked him, has that been treated? So he sent me his prescription papers. Now, that prescription did not have any degree or anything. So I asked him कि आपने कहाँ से आपने इलाज कहाँ से करा और क्या दवाइयाँ आपने ली थी? Because I was not even able to understand what was written. So he told me कि हमारे गली में एक डॉक्टर है, उनके पास सब इलाज कराते हैं, मैंने भी वही कराया. So I asked him कि आप प्लीज अपना MRI कराओ. I don't know the status of that lesion and it correlates with your symptom. He got that done. There was more swelling. And now 1 month down the line, he is okay. He told me, I think 3 days back only, he told me कि ma'am, I want to meet you. मैं आऊँगा आपसे मिलने, चाहे मैं ट्रेन करके आऊँ, कहीं से भी आऊँ. He is from Bihar or somewhere. तो that is one thing. ये जो qualifications की awareness है, यही नहीं है. कहाँ से गूगल पे सर्च करना है, यही नहीं पता है. तो जो हम बैठ के बात कर रहे हैं कि एम्स का क्वालिफिकेशन या एम्स के डॉक्टर लोगों को पता हो, तो लोगों को इतना ही पता है. लोगों को एम्स का भी फुल फॉर्म नहीं पता है. मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल फ्रॉम बिहार ओनली नो एम्स एज ऑल इंडिया. दैट्स इट. ऑल इंडिया के डॉक्टर हैं. दैट्स इट. उनको एम्स भी नहीं पता कि इट्स कॉल्ड एम्स दिल्ली.
This
So there are
brings
that
me
kind
to
of
a
people.
very interesting point. Now, let's take the case of this patient that you mentioned. उसके पास एम्स तो छोड़ो, I mean, I guess उसके पास right doctor ही नहीं था, right? So India has a problem of lesser number of doctors, which we are trying to solve, and we have been struggling with it for quite a few years now. Rural areas में this problem is even more. And when it comes to health content creation, online space में, Indian online space में, not all doctors are content creators. Not all doctors go all out in educating their patients one-to-one or through the online space. So there is a dearth of online good content for the people out there. Now let me put you in a spot. You are saying that education matters, right? So does that mean it is only the doctors who should be educating people? Or in the other way, if I take us in one side, say I'm not a doctor, Revant has some education with nutrition, uh, Ravi has some education with biotechnology, but all said and done, we are not doctors. Do you think that we have the moral right to do health content? One. Second, I mean, so one thing you can say is, nahi, theek hai. I mean, you are doing health content, you are trying to educate people. The other way of looking at it is, like you said, already बहुत कचरा हो चुका है online space में. Everybody is a health influencer. So, how do you feel about it? Should we? Should we not? Should we stay away from it and leave it only to the doctors? Or should we also work with you and try to make a difference?
Yeah, so doctors alone can't do it. And doctors per se, see, MD, MS doctors are not the only people who are health aware or who can make other people aware. See, he already has a degree in nutrition, right? He is fully qualified to talk about nutrition. He's talking about all the stuff he's fully qualified to do. You are taking support from validated doctors to produce content, to, reach to the masses. Each doctor cannot reach to the people alone. You are helping us. You are kind of our medium. THIP here is a medium, right? I went through your channel. So you have so many doctors talking about, one doctor talking about breast cancer, one about frozen shoulder or back pain or something. So you are a medium between the doctors and the masses, the people. So doctors alone, of course, cannot do it. We need you all to do that,
Okay.
right? So
Now, if I ask you, give me 3 pointers that non doctors should keep in mind while producing health content.
research as well as you can. Reach out to the doctors who have done the research, or if you are not aware of the articles where you should get the info from, you please reach out and take help, right? So number one is research. Number two, credibility. Do not lose your credibility in front of the audience. Do not be all salesy. Do not try to sell your product all the time. Making people aware and selling a product are two very different things, and people are crossing that line to and fro, and that's where they're not able to reach to the masses. That's where they lose their credibility.
Okay.
Right. And third is, of course, your consistency with good content. It's not like you are posting 3 videos in a day and you can talk anything about any video. No. You make good content. Even if you are posting 1 video in 3 days, your aim should be very clear that you want to send this info to that person in front of you who is not aware of it, who is a layman. So you have to be aware of this thing, that the content has to be good also. The content should be the need of the layman.
So, you mentioned 3 things. One is research, the second one was credibility, and third is consistency of
Good
the
content.
good content,
The
right?
content that is needed.
Okay. Okay.
सो हमें हेल्थ कंटेंट बनाते हुए ये सोचना है कि लोगों को किस इन्फॉर्मेशन की ज़रूरत है, ना कि ये कि किस इन्फॉर्मेशन से हम
Viral
वायरल
जाए.
हो सकते हैं. ये
That's
जो एक डिफरेंस है हेल्थ कंटेंट में, दैट इज नॉट देयर.
that is very.
पीपल आर वर्किंग ऑन द सेकंड वन. दैट इज व्हाट आई हैव फेल्ट. मुझे ऐसा लगता है. अब मैं आपको एक और एग्जांपल दूं. सो ब्लड थिनर्स, कितनी सारी वीडियोस अभी रिसेंटली आई थी कि अगर आपको पैरालिसिस हो तो ये 4 टैबलेट हैं जो आपको रखनी है अपने पास घर पे, ब्लड थिनर्स. हाउ हार्मफुल कैन इट बी फॉर सम पीपल? आई विल टेल यू. स्ट्रोक 2 टाइप का होता है. एक होता है जिसमें क्लॉटिंग होता है, एक होता है जिसमें हाइपरटेंशन, हाई बीपी की वजह से हेमरेज हो जाता है, खून की नली फट जाती है. दोनों में कितना बड़ा डिफरेंस है. अगर पेशेंट ने बिना सीटी कराए पैरालिसिस हुआ, मान लीजिए राइट लेग का, और उसको मान लो आप लेफ्ट साइड में हेमरेज हुआ था, ब्लीड हुआ था, फट गया था, और उसने ब्लड थिनर ले लिया बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वीडियो, दैट ब्लीड विल इंक्रीज.
Of course.
The patient will now require a surgery to evacuate that hematoma. So 80% of strokes are ischemic strokes. I agree कि clotting से होते हैं, लेकिन 20% तो bleed के भी हो रहे हैं ना. तो आप अपनी वीडियो से ठीक है 80% लोगों को बचा लोगे, टाइम दे दोगे, बट वो 20% का क्या? So when my followers sent me those videos and asked me कि मैम आप क्यों नहीं बताते हो कि हमें क्या रखना है घर पे, मैं उनको ये बोलती हूँ आपको कोई सिम्टम आता है आपको घर के पास पहुंचना है,
Very important. I mean,
आपको हॉस्पिटल पहुंचना है.
that's what we also keep telling the patients or the audience is one self-medication. Second, ये जो overload of health content की वजह से हम ही डॉक्टर बन
मैं
गए.
इन दो
I
टाइप
mean,
के
that
हेल्थ कंटेंट से बहुत परेशान हूँ.
Dr. Priyanka was mentioning about the importance of research. Her first point was whatever health content you are producing needs to be very well researched.
Yeah.
What is your research methodology? Because I'm sure it's not as simple as कि एक supermarket में जाओ एक डिब्बा उठाओ और देख लो, right? So what is the research methodology you put before, say, you pick up a brand and you bash them up?
No, so there is little bit of going to the supermarket, like there is little bit of that as well. It's just that there's a very initial understanding what is happening in the market. That's not the research I would say. That's like एकदम basic. First thing you do is to understand कि market में हो क्या रहा है, what is trending in the market. But in terms of purely research, I mainly look at like research reports, like PubMed and like which are credible, which are not like blogs or like random articles from the internet, like like Times of India or like random newspapers. Like these are like proper credible sources. Also,
will you consider the Times of India, and not only Times of India, say the larger media houses, a credible source of health information?
no, because unfortunately, just like health content creators, even they are always fighting off views and value, and they are also prioritizing views more than value. So they will much rather publish an article that 10 ways to lose 20 kilos in
5 days.
Yeah,
I
something
wish.
like that, or like things like that of that nature. So I don't consider those to be credible. Yeah, I would try to do my best to look at research, and also I try my best to put that research in via screenshots on the video itself, so that not only is it research backed, but the research is also कि देख लो यार वो मैं.
People can refer to it.
And also it's to protect myself legally also. कि if some company is saying anything, I'm like देखो वो research report बोल रहा है, मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ.
Yes.
And like that, I will consult some people off camera also, like that is this accurate or not, and that's how it works.
So Ravi, you have a very specific audience base, right? I mean, if for the lack of better words, if I may say, people who are compelled by faith or religion to follow certain gurus and take health decision based on what these people said, right? Do you think what Revant was saying, I mean, started by what Dr. Priyanka said, research is very important, and Revant said that he delves deep into PubMed and other research reports. Do you think those kind of audience, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but I mean people who are driven by beliefs, belief system is very difficult to break. They really care about research?
Probably we have to do a fundamental thing there, that we have to make them understand what research means in the first place. So I start from that point. What research means: research does not mean a research paper put out by any person. There is a huge difference between credible research, peer reviewed research, and non peer reviewed research. So there's a huge difference between the two terms. So if somebody puts a peer reviewed article, there's a very higher weightage to it. So I try to explain this to my audience that just because somebody sent you an article published by a certain sketchy journal does not make that claim valid. So we have to think of peer-reviewed research first, and not just one or two peer-reviewed research. They can also be misleading. We have to think of it kind of a consensus, what the scientific consensus is saying. So again, coming back to a previous point, there are some tools which a normal person can look for. There's a tool called Consensus AI, which puts out what like for any topic. For example, if turmeric cures cancer, normal person does not know whether it does or not does. So on Consensus AI, there's like the whole list of papers on turmeric issues and whether it's has any effect on cancer treatment or not. So people can go and check themselves. So I think for them it's also very important to begin from very fundamental question, whether what kind of research is credible and what kind of research is actually worthless.
As per Dr. Priyanka, we live in a country, and not as per her, it's true, we live in a country जहाँ पे लोगों को MBBS और MD का फर्क नहीं पता.
That is true.
So, explaining what a peer-reviewed research is and a good peer-reviewed research is, you are basically trying to educate them on the same thing that she got trained on by. I mean, that itself, I think, is a massive task to accomplish. And honestly,
Yes.
at times I feel a little lost on how to take it up.
It's very, very difficult. I mean, so my point is that I don't think most people are at this point and are conditioned to think in a research-oriented manner. And what you are saying is very advanced, I feel, for most people. And that is the sad places. So anecdotal evidence will always do better in terms of public.
In terms of
No, I'm not saying scientifically. I'm saying
Right.
which is why again what we had said in the beginning, the cancer. Someone saying my wife got cured of cancer by consuming XYZ ingredients. That is anecdotal evidence कि हाँ मैंने wife को दिया और वो ठीक हो गई. That is much more powerful for people than कि ये एक peer review study में बोल रहा है कि ये खाने से ये होगा. That तो कौन दिमाग लगाएगा?
Dr. Priyanka, do you see such cases in your daily life? Do you see patients who come to you filled with misinformation?
Yes, most of the times.
And like you
Yes.
said, you pick up your topic of videos from what the
Yes.
patients ask.
Correct.
So,
One is that patients don't know for what symptom to go to which doctor. Second, they don't know the qualifications. And third, then the symptom itself. So some of the people, they Google and then end up having been misinformed about it. And then वो unnecessarily खुद ही investigations करा लेते हैं because आजकल तो investigations भी इतने approachable हो गए हैं. You just call the lab and you order an investigation. Next day the guy is at your doorstep. So, and then their symptom doesn't get solved and then they end up at a doctor's place. Then बहुत ज़्यादा जो misinformation in neurology मुझे मिलता है, that is about patient care in dementia and Parkinson. People are not aware कि ये progressive degenerative illnesses हैं, इनका कारण क्या है and how much their care matters in those patients. So that is one big misinformation जो मुझे लगता है patients को है. If I talk about vitamin supplements and all, उसके बारे में भी information नहीं है कि कौन सा vitamin fat soluble है, water soluble है. अब मैं ये नहीं चाहती हूँ कि हर किसी को इंडिया में ये पता हो कि विटामिन डी फैट सॉल्युबल है, लेकिन हर किसी को ये पता होना चाहिए कि अगर वो खाने के बाद ले रहे हैं तो उनको ज़्यादा एब्जॉर्ब होगा. हर किसी को ये पता होना चाहिए कि आयरन टैबलेट को अगर वो विटामिन सी रिच ड्रिंक या लेमन जूस या किसी के भी साथ में ले रहे हैं तो वो ज़्यादा एब्जॉर्ब होगा rather than just taking it with meals. Then what's the point? फूड में तो जितनी भी चीज़ें हैं वो आयरन टैबलेट में से आयरन को एब्जॉर्ब ही नहीं होने दे रही हैं. तो सबसे ज़्यादा मिसइन्फॉर्म न्यूरोलॉजिकली अगर मैं बात करूँ न्यूरोलॉजी पेशेंट्स बिकॉज आई ट्रीट जनरल पेशेंट्स ऑल्सो and neurology patients also. I mean, whoever walks in the clinic, I try to treat, diagnose as much as possible. And if they need to be sent to some other doctor, I do. किसी को ENT का प्रॉब्लम है तो ENT को रेफर किया. एंड देन बिकॉज वी आर डॉक्टर्स वी आर प्रिविलेज टू नो गुड पीपल इन दो सेक्टर्स ऑल्सो कि कौन बेस्ट ENT है, कौन अच्छा ENT है, किन से हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं लाइक दैट. बट देन जनरल जो पॉपुलेशन है उनका एक तो हेडेक को लेकर कि मैं दवाइयाँ लेती जा रही हूँ, जैसे ही दवाइयों को बंद करती हूँ फिर से हेडेक आना शुरू हो जाता है, तो मेरा हेडेक ठीक क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. सो दे नीड टू नो कि ये जो माइग्रेन का जो हेडेक होता है ये कोई लेजन नहीं है कि दवाइयों से ठीक हो गया, वो तो लाइफस्टाइल रिलेटेड चीज़ है. आप दवाई लेके सो रहे हो, लेकिन आप रोज रात को मोबाइल देखकर सो रहे हो, तो कैसे हेडेक जाएगा? जिस दिन आप दवाई बंद करोगे 100% हेडेक आएगा. It will be there. It will come back. Even if I keep telling my patients, even if you are free of your migraine headaches for a year, after 1 year, if you have to face an untoward situation, you go into stress or your lifestyle goes haywire, you need to travel a lot. This headache may come back. Just don't panic. Reach out. है ना? तो वो ये जो प्रोग्नोसिस है ना कि कोर्स ऑफ इलनेस कैसा जाएगा, रोल ऑफ मेडिकेशंस क्या है बीमारियों में, प्रिवेंट कैसे करना है, किस टाइम पर दवाइयाँ लेनी है, कौन सी बीमारी में ट्रीटमेंट इम्पॉर्टेंट है, कौन सी बीमारी में पेशेंट केयर फैमिली केयर इम्पॉर्टेंट है, कौन सी बीमारियाँ प्रोग्रेस करने वाली हैं, कौन सी बीमारियाँ ठीक होने वाली हैं। वो जो ये जो जितनी भी मैंने आपको अभी चीज़ें बताई हैं, इन सब के बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन है। I hardly find patients who are completely informed about these, despite them being following me for 2 years now. तो वो आके बताते हैं, फिर भी कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा मिल जाता है which I have to ask them कि ये चीज़ तो मैं रोज बताती हूँ almost. ये आप कैसे गलत कर रहे हो?
But do you think there is also a mental block in audience about learning कि सीखना नहीं है भाई, दवाई दे दो ठीक करो, ज्ञान
नहीं,
मत
मुझे
दो?
ऐसा नहीं लगता. I don't feel that there is a mental block. Each and every person, most of the people who have come in are, keen to learn. They listen.
Okay,
If I'm talking about something, they listen. They
Okay.
ask their questions.
okay.
They are grateful also
हम्म
कि उनको ये चीज़ पता चली. उनको ये चीज़ पता है कि उनको ये दिक्कत है.
हम्म
अगर उनको दवाइयों के हम साइड इफेक्ट बता के भेज रहे हैं, इफ आई सेंड अ पेशेंट ऑन अ नर्व मेडिकेशन एंड आई नो दैट दैट मेडिकेशन कैन लीड टू डिजीनेस द फॉलोइंग मॉर्निंग, if I tell them and they have it next morning, they panic less, right? If I do not tell them, then next morning when they feel dizzy or they have spinning sensation, they will panic, and then they don't know. If it's a Sunday, they don't have anywhere to go to except an emergency, because Sunday there are no running clinics. So that is one thing, but people want to be aware. मुझे तो ऐसा mental block नहीं लगता है. Honestly speaking, I don't think there is a mental block here. I think they just don't know कि reliable source क्या है, हमें कहाँ से credible source मिलेगा. I have 3.5 lakh followers. 3.5 lakh तो कुछ भी नहीं है इंडियन population में.
True.
So where are the rest of the people? Where are they getting their information from?
See, one thing about your audience is they are people who are following you for a particular health issue, right? So they know they are listening to a doctor, they want to trust that doctor, hence they are following you. रवि, व्हाट्स योर टेक? आपके फॉलोअर्स एडुकेटेड होना चाहते हैं इसीलिए आपको फॉलो करते हैं, या उनको एक मजा आता है किसी ने किसी का बैंड बजा रहे हैं सो वो देखने में मजा आ रहा है?
आई थिंक ऐसा नहीं है. लाइक एवरीबडी वॉचेज अ वीडियो फॉर पर्टिकुलर रीजन, राइट? सो इसीलिए मैंने सेट किया कि पहले 30-40 सेकंड में वी हैव टू क्रिएट अ हुक वेयर people who want to just stay there, come for thumbnail and this and that, they stay. एंड आफ्टर धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे वीडियो में प्रोग्रेशन होता रहता है, 4-5-6-10-15 मिनट, सीरियसनेस बढ़ती जाती है, थोड़ा इन्फॉर्मेशन और ज्ञान बढ़ता जाता है. तो आई थिंक जो स्टे करना चाहता है ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ वीडियो वो स्टे करेगा, अदरवाइज वो जो पहले वाला ऑडियंस है वो अपने आप फिल्टर आउट हो जाएगा. तो सिंपल इज दैट. और उसमें से मैं अपना मेट्रिक देख रहा हूँ, उसमें से एटलीस्ट 40% लोग स्टे करते हैं, विच इज एक्चुअली much better than anybody else.
So the question here is, do you think you are reaching out to the same set of audience who have fallen prey to that particular misinformation? Because if you are reaching out to that same set of people who have watched that particular misinformation piece with your education video, only then it makes sense, right? Probably you are educating somebody who's already educated. So
yes, it's always a fine line of telling the same thing to same people. But if I'm seeing my comments, I see like plethora of those comments, like 90% comments, 95% comments are good. They are positive comments, but the 5-10% comments who are like surprised or they are like shocked, oh, this was wrong. So these are the people I'm trying to reach. And as I grow my audience, this section will also be significantly bigger, and that's where I want to be.
3 things that you want to see as a change in the ecosystem to make it better.
One, we have to. Sorry, I'll repeat. One, we need to get health in the school curriculum.
Okay.
Every single school children needs to be health literate, not just educated. Two, we need much more regional. Regional is also like I would say not a word I want to use, but like videos in multiple languages, not just English and Hindi. And even packaged food, which I always speak about. They cannot, unfortunately, all packaged foods are in English, even though only about 15% of India knows how to read English. So, what about the remaining 85% of people who don't know how to read English? Do they not deserve factual information? So, we need accessible health information for majority of India, not just the English speaking audience. So, which is why I've suggested companies to use a QR code where they can scan the thing and they'll get their own language. They can see the nutrition label. That's number two. Number three, in terms of systematic change, is better ways for people to call out misinformation. Right now, I literally, as an individual, get tagged hundreds of times every day that ये कंपनी ये कर रहा है, ये कंपनी वो कर रहा है, ये कंपनी में ये मोल्ड आ गया, इसमें ये आ गया, ये बिस्किट में चीटी आ गया. So I get hundreds of emails around cockroaches and mosquitoes and those kind of things in their food, because there is not a very easy way for people to complain. So they tag me, they complain to me.
Right.
In fact, they'll write an angry email to Britannia and they'll CC me because they're like hoping that because of my CC, the Britannia will actually reply.
Okay.
But that is not a solution now. I am an individual. I have like 3 people in my team.
Okay.
So I cannot solve so many email ka problems. So I think we need a very strong consumer awareness wala, so consumer addressal forum or whatever. These are 3 changes I would make.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a bit long.
No, that's perfectly fine. I mean, that's exactly what we are trying to figure out. What will it take to make this ecosystem better? Dr. Priyanka, you talked about what health influencers should keep in mind, starting with research. Let's look at the other side of the spectrum. What should health content consumers keep in mind while consuming a particular health content in the online space? 3 points.
Number one, of course, the qualifications. They need to be aware of where the information is coming from, who is giving out the information. Number two, they need to have their own system where they can cross check. So, one thing to cross check is the comment section. The comment section, some person will always be there who will, point out the wrong thing. Some person will always be there. So, one thing is that. Second, they should know how to search on Google. So, for example, they need to type scholarly articles, they get well researched articles. So, second is cross checking, they need to cross check. First was qualification. And then third, they need to know when to apply and when not to apply that information to their own health scenario. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. So, like Revant was also talking about Chat GPT, right? Chat GPT versus health influencers giving content, right? So, for example, if somebody has anxiety disorder, which is very common these days in young adults and adolescents, if somebody is having anxiety disorder, now most of the health influencers would talk about ways to overcome anxiety, would be like yoga, meditation, create a hobby every 2 months, sleep well, have a good quality sleep, right? But now the person should know that when he is having a panic attack, that information is not going to work for him. He can't meditate when he is having a panic attack. So people should be aware of the difference between emergency and between their other health questions. Most of the health influencers or chat GPT can take care of their health questions, but doctors and hospitals, that environment can take care of their emergency situations. So they should know where to apply that content.
Ravi, final question to you. In a world, or especially in a country where faith and religion are as big as cricket and Bollywood, 3 things that you think needs to be changed to differentiate faith and religion from health content or health beliefs?
Yeah. So first thing again, I understand like qualification matters, but sometimes well qualified people also may give wrong information. We have seen examples of it. So while seeing qualification, we also have to see what the person is saying, how credible that information is, and is there any hint of misinformation to it. Of course, like a normal person who does not have access to this cannot differentiate. That's where we come in, and we tell you, no, this person, however qualified, and again, there's a nuance to it. However qualified this person is saying absolutely बेकार चीज, इसको मत मानो. तो ये डिफरेंशिएट करना कि क्वालिफिकेशन वाइल इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बट समटाइम्स क्वालिफाइड पीपल व्हेन दे आर पुट इनटू पेडेस्टल, लाइक भाई अनटच, लाइक इनको कोई इस पर बात नहीं करने का, तो दे कैन ऑल्सो गिव रॉन्ग इन्फॉर्मेशन. वी हैव टू बी अवेयर ऑफ इट. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दैट्स वाई people who become big in their names, that they say anything in terms of any kind of information, right? So first thing is that. Second thing is, again, I would say, I will again chime in कि research करो खुद से. और जैसे again, it's very simple to go to like any Google search and find out which information is credible, which is not. There are 3-4 ways, and I tell them in most of my videos. It's not like you do not need a science degree for it. So any person can actually find out this information if they want, because willingness is also very important. Most people are not willing to go even on like outside my videos, and such, it takes some time. And third thing, which I have previously said, context बहुत मैटर करता है. एनीथिंग कैन बी यूजफुल इन सम क्वांटिटीज. इवन वाटर कैन टेक योर लाइफ. लाइक इफ यू ड्रिंक टू मच वाटर, यू कैन डाई. सोडियम कंटेंट आपकी बॉडी से निकल जाएगा, जो सोडियम चैनल होता है हमारा. तो ज़्यादा पानी पीने से भी इंसान मर सकता है. तो अगेन कॉन्टेक्स्ट हर चीज़ का है कि कोई भी चीज़ हम ले रहे हैं उसको ब्लैक एंड वाइट में ना देखें, और हम देखें कि कॉन्सेंट्रेशन मैटर्स, डोसेज जो है मैटर्स, और उसका पोटेंसी कितना है, सच में वो लीथल है या नहीं है, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो कॉन्टेक्सचुअल अवेयरनेस बहुत मैटर करती है, नुआंस बहुत मैटर करता है. तो ये 3 चीज़ें आई थिंक.
Perfect. So, thank you guys. I guess it was an interesting discussion, and the audience will also know how to behave, both health content creators as well as health content consumers. Because मेरे experience में there is a certain amount of gullibility with which people create health content and people consume health content in India. So, hope people will find some pointers to look at when they are looking at a particular health content. They will know what to trust, what not to trust. Thank you guys once again for making time. It's been wonderful having you here. Thanks so much.